Hey, welcome back to the channel today. A little under the weather. It's a little self-inflicted, if you know what I mean. Last night out, we went to iHeart Beer Festival, downtown Toronto. Pretty good time. One of the things that was there that we didn't end up doing because we're getting a ton of snow again, we were going to do it today, is the Bike Fest. Now, the Bike Fest and the Beer Festival were in the same venue, down in Exhibitions Place in Toronto, and I thought, what better way to spend a day than beers and bikes? Anyways, so let's get into it. So again, we didn't end up doing the bike show this year because of the weather. We actually went to the iHeart Beer Festival, and then we were going to do the bike show and the beer festival all on the same day. And then we were thinking, that might be too much, because if we buy anything at the show, we're going to have no place to put it because we were staying at a hotel. Didn't want to have to go back and forth to the hotel. So we decided, well, instead, we'll go to the beer festival, and then today we'll go to the bike show. But we're getting more snow than I ever remember us getting. Roads are terrible. So we just decided we'll just scrap it all together and come home. So we only did the beer festival. But it did bring up some thoughts of drinking and riding, only because of the fact that we had the two shows going on at the same time. I love beer and I love bikes. Two great things. They probably shouldn't go together, but we're going to discuss that a little bit more here. Now, we all know drinking and riding is a no-go. You shouldn't be doing it, and yeah, it should be a non-starter. However, I was having a conversation with my neighbor who's actually out snowblowing right now. You probably can hear it. I was having a conversation with him the other day about, we're talking about having a few beers or whatever, and I just happened to mention that I said Coors Light. That's I used to call that my driving beer. I told him, and he goes, "Oh, you drink and drive?" And I'm like, "Well, no." I said, when I go, for dinner or something like that, I'll have a Coors Light or one or two, and I'm okay after having that. And he's like, "Oh, yeah, you don't drink and drive." And we both kind of laughed at it. But it kind of made me think about it. It's like, yeah, it is drinking and driving, but it isn't drinking and driving, because it's not, you're not drunk. You're never ever drunk driving. But it also brought up something for me for drinking and riding. To me, they're actually two different things, whether you're driving a car or riding a motorcycle. Again, drinking and driving, you shouldn't do it. It's something that no one should do. As a community here, a neighborhood, we are still reeling from a young girl that lost her life a couple of years ago. Everyone has a story about drinking and driving, and it's bad. That it affects a lot of people when a tragedy like that happens, especially a preventative one. So again, don't drink and drive. You should never do that, especially don't drink and ride. And that's what I wanted to talk about. Now, here in Ontario, you have to go through a graduated licensing to become a motorcyclist. And it basically takes almost 2 years to get your full M license. Now, when you have your M2, so you get your M1, your M2, and then you can get your full M. And the process is about 2 years. Well, you have your M1 and M2, one of the stipulations is you have to have a 0% alcohol level, which isn't a hard thing to do because, again, you shouldn't be drinking and riding. However, once you get your M, it goes up to the same as driving. I think here in Ontario it's 0.08. I don't know what that equates to for, your blood alcohol of how many drinks it is, because I know it does depend on the size, how much you normally drink and stuff like that. There's a whole big equation in there, and most people 0.08. One beer you're probably going to blow over. So usually it's not 0% alcohol, but it's pretty much don't drink and ride. But I did want to share my experience of the first time I drank and ride. No, I've never been drunk riding. The first time I ever had a beer and actually rode the bike was, again, it was after 2 years of experience riding. Again, I got my first M2 license when I was 42, so I was like 43 at the time, so I wasn't new to drinking or anything like that. My wife and I, we went for a long ride. It was probably about an hour and a half, and we came home and we stopped off at a local eatery and had dinner. While I was there, I'm like, I'm gonna have a beer. I'm gonna have a beer, and again, I had my driving beer, my Coors Light. I only had one, and it was just a regular sized pint, 16 ounces or whatever it was. It wasn't like I added in and got the bigger size, which I normally do. But again, first time I ever had a alcoholic beverage and rode a motorcycle, I'm like, I better take it slow. I'm just gonna have the one and just do a regular beer. So we had our dinner. Again, we were there for probably about an hour, hour and a half. Only had the one beer, and we were maybe I don't know, 2 miles away from home. We jump on the bike. We start heading home. Where I live, it's they call it the Four Corners. You come down, and it's actually down a hill before we have to make a left. I did not know how to ride a motorcycle all of a sudden. I don't know what it was. I'm sure it had something to do with riding all day, being dehydrated because you're out in the heat, and then throwing alcohol on top of it. It affected me a lot more than what it would if I was just driving a car. It scared the hell out of me. It took me a long time before I ever had a beer again on the bike. And that's all I wanted to actually come on here. I'm not preaching. I'm not, don't drink and drive. Don't ever have a beer. Don't have a zero. I'm not saying that. I'm not being preachy. I just wanted to come on, tell you my experience, and just know that when you're out riding for a long time, you might be dehydrated. You are getting a lot more fatigue than if you're just driving a car. And the alcohol is going to have a bigger effect on you than if you were just driving a car. So be extra careful when you're on a motorcycle. If you are going to have a beer or two when you're out riding with your buddies. I know now I can have a beer. I'm okay now, but I'm very careful when I kind of read myself. If it's a huge long run, I am going to have maybe a small beer and that's it. I'm not going to go and have a strong beer or anything like that. I keep it well within my limits because I don't want to have that feeling again when I'm going down a road and all of a sudden my eye-hand coordination just fails me. So yeah, not a preachy video, not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm not trying to tug at heartstrings or anything like that. I know everyone has a story, and I feel bad for anyone that has lost someone that they know due to drinking and driving. I'm not talking about drunk driving. I'm talking about just having a beer or two. Again, you're probably better off not doing it, but if you do, just keep that in the back of your mind that it's going to affect you a lot more riding a motorcycle than it will in a car. Anyways, until next time, later.